In 1894, a mansion of imported marble rose as a monument to boundless industrial wealth. By 1905, the family was bankrupt. 2 members were dead, and the estate sold at auction. They were only the first family this house would destroy. Imported Carrara marble lined the grand ballroom, its polished surface reflecting gaslight from a chandelier said to weigh half a ton. The house sprawled across 12 acres, with formal French gardens mapped by the Olmsted firm, with rows of clipped boxwood, a reflecting pool, and winding gravel paths. Behind the main facade, a dedicated servants' wing stretched the length of a city block, housing cooks, maids, and footmen who kept the machinery of luxury humming out of sight. The estate's blueprints called for a coal-fired boiler from Pittsburgh, custom stained glass from Boston, and carved woodwork by J.H. Miller & Sons, all cataloged in ledgers that read like a who's who of Gilded Age artisans. Newspapers marveled at the expense, $28,500 for marble alone, a ballroom built to outshine Newport, a property tax bill higher than most city blocks. Each detail was a calculated display, a public proclamation that the owner belonged to the new American aristocracy. Yet beneath the surface, every imported stone and gilded panel hinted at a dream stretched to its breaking point, a house designed to impress, but never to yield. In February 1903, the Rourke family's fortunes collapsed under the weight of unpaid debts and mounting liabilities. The bankruptcy filing listed over $1.2 million owed, a staggering sum for the era, while the estate itself was named as collateral. Headlines in the Philadelphia Bulletin announced, "Industrialist Rourke faces insolvency, estate to be sold," turning the mansion from a symbol of triumph to a cautionary tale. Within a year, tragedy deepened. Franklin Rourke, the eldest son, died of tuberculosis in December 1904. Just weeks later, Alan B. Rourke himself suffered a fatal heart attack in January 1905. Probate schedules and death records documented each loss with cold precision. Private letters hinted at a growing fear within the family, a suspicion that the house itself harbored misfortune. In June 1905, the mansion was auctioned to settle creditors. Its fate reported under the blunt headline, "Belmont Mansion passes to new owners." Luxury had curdled into loss, and the estate's reputation was forever altered. Margaret Whittaker arrived in 1911, determined to reclaim the mansion's lost grandeur. She poured money into repairs, reopening the gardens and hosting charity teas beneath the same marble ceilings that once echoed with the Rourke's ambitions. But the house's fortunes did not improve. On a June night in 1913, a fire swept through the West Wing, sparked by a faulty stovepipe. The flames claimed the life of her teenage daughter, Ellen, whose obituary ran beneath the headline, "Tragedy Returns to Belmont Estate." The blaze gutted a third of the upper floors, leaving blackened beams exposed to the sky. Reconstruction dragged on for years, dogged by setbacks and disputes. In 1918, a contractor named Harold Miller sued the Whittakers for unpaid work, demanding $250,000 for steel reinforcements. The case wound through courtrooms and local gossip columns, and although the judge ruled in the family's favor, the public spectacle deepened the estate's reputation for misfortune. Servants whispered about cold drafts and unexplained footsteps in the halls. A diary entry from 1922, found in an estate sale inventory, described footfalls at midnight, always in the same corridor. By the early 1920s, the mansion's troubles had become the stuff of rumor, each new hardship adding fuel to the growing legend that the house itself refused to let its owners rest. Dr. Samuel Hawthorne arrived in 1942 with plans to convert the aging mansion into a private clinic, hoping to breathe new life into its crumbling halls. Within 3 years, tragedy struck. On a cold March morning in 1945, Eleanor Hawthorne was found lifeless in her upstairs bedroom. The coroner's report listed acute carbon monoxide poisoning, traced to a faulty boiler that had never been properly retrofitted since the days of coal. The death sent ripples through the local press, and whispers of the estate's ill fortune began to circulate once more. The hazards only multiplied. In 1947, a fire broke out in the kitchen wing, sparked by old wiring and ignited paint fumes. Insurance adjusters cataloged the destruction in blunt terms: total loss of original kitchen fixtures, cause, structural neglect. Engineering assessments found corroded pipes and mold creeping through the walls, a slow decay that no amount of money seemed able to reverse. By the early 1950s, city records show vacancy notices tacked to the front gates, sections of the house condemned as unfit for habitation. The Hawthorns withdrew to a handful of rooms, leaving the rest to darkness and dust. Each calamity fed the legend, and the mansion's reputation as a place where ambition, curdled into ruin, grew ever harder to shake. At midnight, the Mid-Atlantic Paranormal Research Group powered up their EMF meters in the mansion's darkened library. Within minutes, the logbook recorded a sudden spike, 3.2 microteslas, well above the building's usual baseline. A thermal camera swept the south stairwell and captured a sharp drop in temperature, 6 degrees in less than 30 seconds. No drafts or open windows explained the chill. Audio recorders picked up a low, wavering moan that lasted 12 seconds, with no clear source. The team noted each anomaly in real time, their data sheets crowded with numbers and question marks. In the stillness, the old house seemed to answer back. Independent analysts from the Forensic Audio and Video Lab reviewed the paranormal data from 2022 and traced the library's moaning sounds to the mansion's aging HVAC system. Their 2023 report, commissioned by the heritage nonprofit that now manages public tours, found that electromagnetic spikes and cold spots matched fluctuations from old wiring and ventilation cycles. Visitors still debate what they hear and feel inside, but current custodians point to documented maintenance issues, not the supernatural, when explaining the house's lingering mysteries. The mansion stands silent, yet its shadows linger. Each generation searches for reason, but the line between misfortune and myth remains razor thin. Some houses never let go. What do you believe?